Okay, welcome to week 17. I don't know if you can tell in my voice, but I'm getting over that little cold that I had from last week. So, speaking of last week, I was gone on both Thursday and Friday, so that means both second and sixth period you missed me, and we didn't get to finish our slides. I told the sub to tell you to not finish them and that we would finish them on Monday. So, that is the plan. Finishing the slides from week 16, we're going to take a break and then finishing that last bit. So I'm not really going to go over what we're doing for the Monday in this video because you can just go back to last week's video to watch it in case you need to. So it's there. We're going over all of this stuff, which is in week 16 video. Okay, so on Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to start doing a deeper dive into literary elements. We got like our foundational notes last week, but this week I want to go a little bit deeper, provide you some more examples and more mentor text so that we can really practice analyzing short stories and narrative writing before we start writing our own. So anytime you see an underline, fill in the blank. First, we're going to talk about point of view and tone. Point of view is the perspective from which the story is told. The speaker in the story is not always the same as the author. Still, the way that the text is written can tell us the tone of the work. So what you're going to do is take a look at these. These are going over different ways of narrating a story. And you're going to fill in this down here. These are the keywords that you're going to look for first person, second person, third person. And then we've got third person limited. We've got words over here and then right here, and then third person omniscient. So they are very different, and you can see that from the examples. And then you're going to practice just with a very quick free write. So the scenario is a character is about to tell her parents about her engagement, and you get to pick which point of view or tone she's going to be telling the story, which will change how the story kind of goes. And you're going to write just a paragraph down here. And then we're talking about characterization. So authors use characterization to describe a character, which is really important. And we can also see explicit and implicit, meaning there are certain things that are pretty obvious and then certain things that we have to dig a little bit deeper to get to, more intrinsic stuff like feelings and thoughts. So we're going to practice this by you picking a favorite character from a favorite story that you have. This could be a movie, a TV show, a book, really anything that has a story, and you're going to copy and paste a picture of them here, and then you're going to just describe really quickly what are their ambitions and goals, favorite hobbies and activities, and biggest struggles and insecurities. Here's an example for you using the very classic Star Wars character Anakin Skywalker. And then same thing, we're going to kind of look a little bit more intrinsically and or thinking about like practical stuff within a story. What do they experience on a maybe daily basis? So again, you're going to use that same character and copy and paste some pictures and then give me a little description right here. So there's an example. And then we're going to talk about plot and conflict. The plot is the sequence of events that happen in a story, and it shows the different forces that move throughout it to create that conflict. So, to give you a specific definition for each one of these things, because I did show you the plot diagram last week, but it wasn't this detailed. Exposition is all about background. Rising action is all about little details in the plot that kind of lead us towards the climax. The climax itself is when the tension, the issue itself, there's a turning point, which leads us to the falling action where things are kind of worked out, more details are shared to bring us to the resolution, the end of the story. And then when we're looking at conflict, sometimes a story will have an internal conflict, sometimes external, sometimes both, depends on what the story is. The difference between the two is that internal is more thoughts and feelings within the character, and external is more like between two different characters or different outside forces. So what we're going to do next is read a short story called 11 by Sandra Cisneros, and you are going to fill in this table after reading it, and then we'll talk about it in class. Okay, now we're talking about setting. This is, like I told you last week, the time and place. It's going to set the backdrop for the story, and it needs to have a lot of descriptive writing in order to really make sense. So what you're going to do in these next 3 slides is you're going to read these little excerpts, and you're just going to tell me what is the mood that you get from the description of this setting. They're from 3 different novels. And then we're talking about theme. Theme is the underlying ideas or subject of a work. It's often represented by a motif, and you can think of it as like the lesson, what we're supposed to be learning from the story. It is different than a topic. We talked about that last week. A topic is one single word. A theme should be a complete sentence, a complete thought. So you're going to look at these fables. These are technically short stories if you think about it, very short, and you're going to write a theme statement. So think about, what do you think is the life lesson in each of these stories? And you're just going to write one sentence to the right. Lastly, we are going to talk about the rubric for your short story assignment. So here is what it is. This is linked on Canvas. So you are going to write a short story. This is kind of part of your final because it's going to be due during finals week. But I'm giving you lots of time ahead of time to understand what the assignment is, to work on it in class, and to have lots of time. So you're going to choose one of 2 options. One, you can choose to write a short story completely from scratch, meaning this is not a story that already exists. You want to create the characters, build the world, create the story, the plot, all that. Or if you're like, Miss Alberton, that's a little bit overwhelming for me. I'm not a writer. I don't know how to do that. That doesn't sound interesting or fun to me. Then you can do a twist. You can basically write fan fiction. So you're going to choose a story that already exists, and you have to rewrite it, changing either the ending and or the point of view that it's told from. So here's an example, because I'm sticking with the Star Wars thing. You could choose to rewrite Star Wars Episode 3 so that Anakin doesn't turn to the dark side and become Darth Vader. So what would that look like? Or you could choose to rewrite that same episode so that it's exclusively told from Padme's point of view and nobody else's. Again, this is a short story, so if you're thinking about wanting to choose like your favorite movie, obviously you don't need to rewrite the entire movie. You're just going to pick a scene or a plot point from that and turn it into a short story. And then here is the rubric, and you can see what I'm going to be looking for. The main thing from going to a 3 to a 4, there's going to be a theme no matter what. But if you're wanting to get a 4, I really would like you to use symbolism. And if you need help figuring out how to do that, please talk to me. And then you're also going to make it 3 pages instead of 2. But basically everything else is the same between a 3 and a 4. So this is all linked on Canvas. Again, I'm just giving you the rubric now and going over that with you, but you're not actually going to start writing it until next week. But I'm going to give you lots of time. The week before finals week, I'm going to give you lots and lots of time in class to work on your assignment, and we're going to have check-ins as well. So that is all I have for you for week 17. If you need anything, please let me know.